What's up, guys? It's your girl Age, and I am back to talk about episode 12 of KinnPorsche. So, tell me something that was your favorite about this episode. And I'm going to just hop right into this because it's been a little second. This episode starts off with Porsche being a doting big brother to Porsche, dropping him off at school. Yeah, Barcode is such a baby in this show. I just saw him and Jeff in Would You Bakery because it finally came out. And, in that show, Porsche owns, I keep saying calling Porsche, Barcode, owns his own business. And it's a good show. Wait, okay. Let me not stray away from the show at hand. You can tell that Porsche is feeling some type of way because Porsche is doing all of the hard work, to raise him, send him to college. And he appreciates Porsche so much. And he probably, just feels guilty that his brother has to do all of this stuff just so he can get an education. And on top of that, let's not forget that Kim, his crush, his ex-boyfriend, his whatever the heck they were, just got into a little spat because he found out who he actually really was. But Porsche decided that he was not going to apply to go to the music academy. He didn't want to do his interviews, even though he did go on his exams. But let's swoop away from Porsche for a little bit. An even bigger bomb is dropped in the next scene because while Porsche is trying to see if Kinn is cheating on him, as they are now officially boyfriends, he spies and overhears the guy at the table, that the person that Kinn is talking to, who just happens to be the guy at the beginning of the series who beat up his uncle. That assailant was actually working for Kinn and his family. It was all to force Porsche into working for Kinn. So Kinn basically tried to put Porsche, he basically did put Porsche in a desperate situation, saying, I'm going to take your house that your parents left you, and threatened to kill B, which I wouldn't have been too mad about, unless you're ready for me. Y'all, that is really dirty. Kinn is really dirty for that. And I feel like Kinn must have known Porsche bugged him because Kim got really mad at the guy who had assaulted the uncle whenever the man had brought it up to Kinn that, hey, we might need a little bit of more money because we ended up getting your boy to work for you. So it is all slimy business. In the next scene, we see that Pete is still in Vegas' house as a slave, and now he's reading a book talking about blood types. Pete tells Vegas that he needs love, that Vegas needs love, because even though Vegas is tough on the outside, he is still sensitive on the inside. Of course, that pisses Vegas off, and, Vegas proceeds to abuse Pete even more. Vegas, he is so sadistic to have that boy in there like an animal. Like, what? We switch to Porsche confronting Kinn about the house that Porsche's parents left him with after they died, and how Kinn used that as leverage to pull Porsche into their orbit. If you were Porsche, guys, honestly, how would you feel? Let me know how you would feel if the person that you love, after all the shit that y'all went through together, and you find this out that he's sitting here basically scheming and scamming to get you to work for him. I would feel terrible. Like, after all that shit we went through, you are still lying to me. And on top of that, you have been scheming since the very beginning. Kinn threatened to take the only thing that Porsche had found valuable, besides Porsche, and he toyed with him the whole time. Kinn said that he didn't know about that back then, and that he was, quote, just doing what his father had told him to do. Which leads me, Porsche, and apparently Kim, to wonder, why Porsche? And note that I said Kim, K-I-M, not Kinn, K-I-N-N. And at that moment, that is exactly what Porsche asked Kinn while confronting him. As we know from the last episode, Kim found out that his dad covered up Porsche's parents' death for some reason, Porsche and Porsche's parents. And in this scene, Kinn knows that Porsche can be a bit flighty when it comes to their emotions, and understandably so, because you can have already toyed with him so much and fucked him up emotionally, mentally, and physically. Kinn is scared because you know that Porsche would run off because of this info. So he is trying to calm him down, and he promised him that he would find out all of the answers that Porsche needs about his parents. And he's basically like, you know, Porsche, please don't leave me. And he's like, let me hug you. And Porsche, he lets him, but you can kind of tell something is off with Porsche. So they both go to Korn to get some answers, and Korn is as cool as a cucumber. He tells Porsche and Kim that the driver who killed Porsche's parents was Korn's friend, so Korn himself covered up for his friend. Yeah, I believe that. Korn said he forgot that there were 2 children, so he claimed in order to help Porsche and Porsche and take care of them, he would force Porsche to work for him. What kind of logic is that? Like, Korn, do you really think that working for you at that hellhole is some kind of blessing? What a self-righteous asshole! Porsche asked Korn, okay, well, why didn't you just tell me this 2 months ago before, I started working here? Korn said, because a stubborn guy like you, Porsche, would have never worked here. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's just so much manipulation. I would have been left that place after Kinn raped me the first time. Fuck all that. Porsche kindly said that he did not want Korn's help and rightfully stormed the fuck off. In the next scene, Pete and Vegas noticed that something was seriously wrong with Vegas's pet. Pete says that the guards outside should take the animals to the veterinarian to see what's wrong, and Vegas says that there is no one outside. Vegas decided to take the animal to the vet himself, and in his frenzied state, he rushes out of the room that Pete's in, and he left the key that binds Pete's hands. When Pete saw that key, Pete was like, I am fucking out of here. But as he was escaping, he saw a dejected Vegas on the lawn with his dead animal in his hand. Realistically, what would y'all have done if you were Pete? Me, I would have booked it. Fuck Vegas. Fuck that little animal. I'm leaving. Look, I understand all of the emotional stuff that Vegas is going through and how he literally has no one but Pete. Petey, this man was about to kill you. The audacity of you to start falling in love? Petey, no, boo, damn it. So they have a funeral for the animal in the front lawn. Then Vegas walks back inside, and so does Pete. Even Vegas had to ask Pete why he didn't run away. Pete said he don't even know. Well, I'll be. Nobody knows anything. Vegas and his situation is so fucked up, and now he is dealing with failure and all of the rest of his consequences of his actions. He especially hates being born in the Minor family, but honestly, to me, both families kind of suck to be in because Korn is not too good to his sons either. So Pete feels sorry for Vegas, but little does he know that sad Vegas is still as dangerous as regular Vegas, maybe even worse. And I think Vegas was actually right. Pete likes it. Pete likes all of it. Maybe they both have a broken brain. And well, Pete, he wanted to get tied back up and did. Girl, Pete might be just as demented as Vegas. And then a real sexy scene happens, and you can go check that out yourself. In the next scene, Porsche tells Porsche that he wants to see him happy and at peace. That's what any good sibling would want for their family. They are just so sweet to each other. And then we get a rare moment with Kinn and Porsche, a completely different vibe from the book because they met under very different circumstances in the book. We also get a shameless plug from some bread company in this episode, as usual. But as you can expect from Ty BLs, they're gonna plug. Anyway, Porsche tells Kinn that he does not have to be a little pauper just to hang with him. Just kidding. But Porsche did say that Kinn should go home. Remember, he is a crime boss, and his father's probably looking for him. And Kim even has his homeboys in Porsche's house cooking. Girl, Porsche got Kinn in the kitchen cooking for him. That's love. But lo and behold, Korn actually did come. But he came to give Porsche a picture of the person who killed Porsche's parents with an address on the back. He said that this was his apology to Porsche. But, like, does Porsche really want revenge like a mafia brat? Like, honestly, what is killing this man years later gonna do? Yeah, justice, because he should have paid for his crimes for killing his parents. But taking a man's life like this many years later, it kind of serves no purpose. Because Porsche, if he does take the man's life, it's probably gonna feel shittier and emptier still, and he's not gonna get his parents back. You know what I mean? So, also hitting Porsche's parents was an accident. It's not that he like went out specifically to kill them. If anything, I would have just asked the man for money. Like, hey, you killed my parents. Like, remember that Korn covered up. If Korn is telling the truth at all, which we're going to get back to that in general. So Kinn was so happy when Porsche decided not to retaliate against the man. Because they did go to his house, but he was like, nah, it ain't really worth it. And the man got a granddaughter too, so like, no. Then the two of them, Kinn and Porsche, go back to that alley where they had first met, and Kinn asked for Porsche's help to fight off those guys. Kinn was the one who said that he didn't want any more lies between them. Kinn is so in love, y'all. He asked if they could start over again, and they reintroduced themselves. And then as they're doing so, we get Jeff Satter's beautiful voice singing in the background. It was such a beautiful scene. And I'm happy that they did it because, you know, Kinn is really trying to do the right thing by way of, you know, Porsche and helping him. In the next scene, we see Kimmy Kim, who I am just remembering is actually a college student himself. One of his friends at school stopped him and asked him why Porsche, you know, the little guy that you were tutoring in a guitar. Well, it confused everyone that Porsche did not do the interview. And Kim also was shocked. He knows that, you know, Porsche had wanted this for like so long. He's been trying to get into like the music department of the school. So he's like, okay, well, why didn't he do it? And I think he knows the reason is himself. Man, that whole family just stayed lying and scheming and just messing up people's lives. So Porsche decided that he was going to dye his little hair blue, and he decided to hang out with some very bad people who were drinking and sneaking into the club. He ended up like super wasted, and one of the guys was about to give him some like hard drugs. And you know that once Porsche had them drugs, that boy was probably going to try to do something to Porsche. But luckily, that was when Kim barged in and he kicked the dude. And he also tried to drag Porsche out. My thing is, now is a fine time to show that you care when you were lying to him from the jump. Then, when Porsche tells you basically to fuck off, you're mad? Kim Han, the Apaniaku. However you say his last name, girl. Boy, like, you need to go sit down. You need to go and sit down. Then we find out that while Porsche and Porsche's uncle, he's still a bum, he actually knows more about Korn and the main family than Porsche thought. He asked Porsche for 5 million baht in exchange for information on Korn and Porsche's mom. Right after he hands Porsche a photo of Korn, Porsche's parents, Porsche, and a baby Porsche. Whoa. Korn apparently knows the family very well. Porsche's family very well. Like, why did Korn lie about it?